What's good with it, man? How y'all doing tonight? You heard me? Um, I don't know, man. I don't know how long it's gonna be because like I said, it's Freestyle Friday, so that's why I can't wait till I get my subscribers up because once I do that, it can bring people in the show and it might be a long, more entertaining, maybe 2 hour show, maybe 3 hours. Depends on how many people I bring in, what their situation is, and how long it takes me to dive in, unpack it, and get it back to them. You heard me? But got a few things I want to talk about tonight, man. First of all, I hope y'all week was great. Mine was. But yeah, man, I got a lot to talk about tonight. One of the things I want to start off talking about is parenting. It's something that I always talk about, and of course, I'm not a parent yet, but um, just because I'm not a parent, don't mean I don't have common sense. And a lot of times today, common sense comes off as wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like common sense just ain't that common no more. You feel me? So when you see somebody that actually got common sense, it's like that person got wisdom. You feel me? And a lot of time it is wisdom too, because and wisdom only comes from one place, and that's God. You heard me? So you gotta always keep that in mind. But some things are just common sense, man. And it's like parenting is so serious to me. Um, I've made some bad decisions in my life with women. So I don't, and the reason why I'm saying that is because not to put my business out there, but I don't want to come up on here as if I'm sanctimonious or something like that. Like, oh, I never was doing nothing. Or I did the right thing. It wasn't that. It's just God didn't never let things materialize because, and I feel as though He did that. That's just my own philosophy. I feel as though He didn't allow me to reproduce with the women that I was with. Not trying to really down talk them, but they wasn't compatible with me, to say the least. Right? Like we was, you know what I'm saying? And some of them, most of them had children, and the things that um have went on with their children, the people that they have brought around their children, um, even me at one particular time when I was in the fallen state, this is a goes to show that I'm glad I didn't have women, babies with these children because one of the main issues that I always speak about this in our community. Nothing is going to change. I can tell I tell people all the time. There's a lot of things that we need to fix, but none of that is going to be fixed or changed until we bring the black family back together like it was pre-civil rights movement. People like to talk about how bad black people was doing and all these different things of that matter. But contrary to popular belief, before the civil rights movement, it was basically almost impossible. Like to see a broken home in the black community. That was almost like impossible. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? It wasn't no black on black crime. Of course, it wasn't no abortion because abortion wasn't legal at that time. Excuse me. It wasn't no abortion. Roe v. Wade hadn't been passed, I think, till 1974. So, with no abortion, with our women, number one, which is one of our problems in our community, because anytime you get an abortion, you're killing a baby. However you want to look at it or feed it, you taking a life. It's a life that has been concept in your body, and you gestating for 9 months. So whether you gestated for a week, 2 weeks, or however long it takes for them to take it out of you, you gestating a person. And for you to take that out of your body and kill it for whatever reason, I mean, you killing a baby. And if you think God is happy with you, yes, God can forgive you. Will you be under a curse forever? You will. That you cursing your own woman. You cursing your own woman because there's women who want to have children. They can't have children. They wasn't blessed. Their womb was not blessed. Their womb is cursed and they can't have children. So, and that's another thing I feel about women tying their tools. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to, well, I talked about it to a few young ladies about this. And I always tell them that I feel like when you tie your tools, you cursing your woman, you going against God. Because, especially when we children of God and we following, um, we Christians and we supposed to be on a Christian walk, but even if you're not on a Christian walk and you get your tools tied, what you saying is, God, I don't care what your plans is. My plan is to not have no more children. And you don't know what God's plan was. Or people, I know a lot of people may say, well, if it was God's plan, something still happened. If yes, that's true. God will be done. But you got in the way of His will, and we can get in the way of His will. We can't stop it. We can delay it and get in the way of it. And so, if He got a baby that's for you, you still get pregnant, even though there's a lot of different procedures that they do now. Back then, it was a lot of time where that was happening. But these days, they doing some serious stuff like burning, like they doing some stuff to the point where you really can't have children. But we all know that Jesus was put in Mary without none of that. So God can make anything happen. It's His world, it's His body, He manufactured it. But going back to the original subject, prior to the civil rights movement, we didn't have any of that. We didn't have no abortion. Of course, like I said, it wasn't legal. There was no black on black crime. The 70% of our households now that's ran by a woman, that probably was a 0% or 5%. And think about it, all if everything was affected by that. Like prisons back then. Prisons, like you go into prison right now, it's gonna be majority black. Back then it wasn't that way, right? It was majority of white people. It was the bank robbers, the gangsters, and like the real gangsters like Al Capone, Babyface, and all them type of dudes, Machine Gun Kelly and all them. And so by having a black family together, it alleviates so many different issues that is plaguing the black community today. Um, and so, like I say, man, there's a lot of things I talk about on this channel about improving our community, but none of this is gonna happen until we bring that 70% that 70% of our children that's being raised in matriarchal households gonna have to drop tremendously, at least to 15 or 10%. Or we don't expect nothing to change. But the lower we can get it, I understand it's not gonna be an overnight thing. Because as I was talking to one of my brothers earlier, everything in our community, we have all the tools that we need to do what we need to do at this point. We don't need anybody, we don't need nothing. All we need is a reflushing of our mindset. It is a mindset issue that we have in our community. Now we have the power, we have the influence, we have the capital, we have everything that we need to not actually equality, but to take rulership without blood, right? But none of that is going to start without first bringing the black family back together. But one of the things that I want to speak about is you have to be very careful who you make children with. Who you make children with can make or break you. Like I said, man, and I was speaking about this, I believe in my message to the black community, volume 18. I spoke about it throughout my time making videos of how all of a sudden it's something that you never really seen, but all of a sudden you're seeing an influx of black men killing black women, whether it be their wives or baby mothers, and that's for a number of different reasons. But it's the culture that the black woman have accepted. Um, and I'm not gonna blame the black woman because, as I always say, because us as black men have turned our back on the Most High and we worship everything but Him. We worship the preachers, we worship women, we worship money, we worship possessions and material things, we worship everything but God. We believe in God, some of us. But we know, as the Bible says, even the devils in hell believe in God. Believing in Him doesn't mean nothing. He wants to be worshipped. He is the Almighty. He wants you to love Him with all your heart, mind, and strength. And we don't. Most of us, we love all those things that I said, aforementioned, more. And so, because we have turned our back on the Most High, and I'm speaking as black men, I have, but I'm speaking as black men, because we have turned our back on against the Most High, basically by idolizing all of these things aforementioned. He have allowed, he have allowed, not sent, but he have allowed Satan to turn our women and rebel against us. And that's the domino effect. And this is why the black child is rebelling against the mother. And this is why you see the situations we have in our community. And so when you thinking about reproducing, like I said, man, I'm not here trying to come off as puritanical or sanctimonious, like, oh, I never was, I was doing what I was doing. I was strapping up and wrapping up and doing all that. I wasn't. But God understood the simple fact. I come up in a two-parent household, right? And I know the importance of having a father at home, because all of my friends didn't have that. And I've seen the effect that it had on their lives and it had on my life. Now, I still made bad decisions because, my father was he was a civil rights activist, he was an evangelist, and he worked in chemical factories. So he pretty much was always gone. But he would come home at months at a time, you know what I'm saying? And, by the time he got his own business, in 2003, I was 15. I already had, with the way I was born, but I wish he had been there more. And because he wasn't there, I sought the streets for that male energy. And this is what happens in the black community. This is why we have the issues that we have. But I keep getting off the big subject that I'm trying to stress. We have to make sure we understand, and even on dates, even when you're going on first dates, and hopefully y'all date, hopefully y'all not just meeting, because we know that going on a lot too. We just meeting, DMing each other, messaging each other. Next thing you know, we linking up, and we having raw sex. I mean, I not to be bragging or nothing, but I did that several different times. Thank God nothing never happened from it. I'm healthy. I don't have no children out here, but these are the things that happen. But you have to date. When you date a woman, you need to be trying to understand not only is she gonna be a good woman to you, is she gonna be a good wife to you, and is she gonna be a good mother to your kids? Because choosing a mother for your children, as well as you women, choosing a man for your children uh can make or break your whole life. Because if you bring children in this world with the wrong person, knowingly, meaning you know this person's lifestyle, whether you be a man or a woman, you know the person's lifestyle, you still reproduce them, bring a child in the world, and neglect that child. Whatever happens to that child, it falls back on you in the eyes of God. And you may not believe it. You may say to yourself, you don't know what you're talking about. Be quiet. What happened to my child, not my fault. Everything that happens to your child is your fault. Whatever it is. If your child decides, if you go to the NBA, I told my mama one time, I say, listen, when you're a parent, you don't know what's going to happen. All you can do is do your best. I get that. You can do your best. Um, but it's two sides to parenting. You might be the parent of Jeffrey Dahmer. You might be the parent of Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? But what you do and not only that, when you pick the spouse, you may be a good parent, but pick the wrong spouse. And so now you separated from your children. I'm talking to the men in this situation because most of the time women get custody. And whatever happened to that child, it falls on both of y'all. This child is healed. If this child is hurt, molested, this child ended up taking the wrong turn and caused havoc on whatever happened with this child, it falls back on you because that child didn't actually come to this world. And I understand, when I tell that to people, the first thing going in my mouth, well, I didn't ask to come in either. I get it. But we can't do that whole chronological thing and go back and back. I'm talking to the parents and your parents, the same thing. They got a lot of people, man, and a curse. A curse is very dangerous. One of my prayers that I pray every day is for God to deliver me and my bloodline from any generational curse or curse because there's a lot of situations and stuff that we go through in life and we really just don't understand, whether it be addiction, whether it be different sins, depression, different things that we may battle, and we seem like we can't be delivered. Now, you always can be delivered from certain things. Some people, I hate to say it, the curse can't be removed. Everybody can't go to heaven. Some people curse and damn to hell. That's just the way it is. I didn't make the rules. We understand. Hopefully, if you watching this, if you think everybody going to heaven, God bless you with that. But everybody's not going to heaven. So some people just gonna have to deal with the curses that they did. But one of the worst things, and I always tell this to people, I say one of the worst things. I made some bad decisions in my life. Some of them I was able to correct. Some of them I wasn't. Most of them I was able to correct. But one of the main things that you can't correct, I said one of the worst things for me is to have a child in this world that turned left because it's like I feel like I never could forgive myself. Like, and I know it would be my fault. Like, some of the women I was dealing with, man, I understand. Most of them don't even stay in the same hometown with me. I don't know what they're doing in their lives. And people do change, so you always got to give people grace. But I always say to myself, man, what if I had a child? And I understand these things now as an adult. I didn't understand these things back then. You know what I'm saying? And my parents, I know they probably feel like this at times, like, where did we go wrong? And this thing that they did, even though my parents, I always tell people, some people are good people but bad parents. And some of our parents were learning as they went. We always got to understand that as well, because the time that our parents, especially if you're a millennial like we, most of our parents were baby boomers, right? So they was learning like as they was going because they was coming from a different time into a new time. So a lot of the things like the internet, how it is now, if you my age, 35, you got the beginning stages of that. And our people didn't really know how to navigate through that. They was kind of like, it was so when the internet came on the scene, I want to say around 97, 98, it was so big. And if whoever had it, it was like having the internet in your home when it first come out, it was almost like, I'm trying to see the equivalent, probably like having like a Lamborghini behind your yard. It was like a big deal. And so a lot of our parents didn't really understand how dangerous that was for us to be able to access all kind of different things by the click of a button. Now, now times are different now, way different. Like now, back then, I remember back then, I used to steal my daddy's credit card to go on websites and buy certain things. Now it's free. As a matter of fact, it's not only free, you may be searching the internet for something completely outside of porn, and porn ads will just pop up. Like it's all in your face right now. So even us as millennials can't raise our children the same way we was raised, right? So I wanted to put that out there because sometimes and some things, especially us if you my age, your parents was learning as they go, bro, and we have to give them grace. We really do. But I always say a lot of our parents were good people. I know my parents for sure. My parents were amazing people. And I hate to say it, but I gotta call a spade a spade. I have to rectify the truth. Because looking back, it's things that they could have done different. You feel me? Um, but like I said, I thank my parents for that. What I do know is, they got a old saying, you get an A for effort. And I know my mother and I know my father tried their best. And it was successful with my little brother. My sister, my daddy wasn't her father, so you know how that is. And I feel like, children don't really never really gravitate to step parents because um that spirit, it's two spirits that create you. It's two spirits that come together and create you. And when one of those spirits are not in your home, in your upbringing, your spirit is always yearning for that. You may have the best stepmother, you may have the best stepfather, but your spirit is always going to yearn for the person who created you. It's just how it is. And if you don't grow with that person, like my dad, I feel was a great stepdad. It wasn't perfect, but I feel like he was great. He provided. My mom was a housewife. He provided for my sister. Like that was his blood daughter. But like I said, I just feel as though I can't talk from experience, but I just feel like she got the short end of the stick. You know what I'm saying? That affected her life by not having her real father. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story. And so we have to be very careful who we procreate with because these things are serious. These things are not a game. I hear so many stories about situations where children are raped. I know people who I had one dude I knew, and his son, he ended up getting custody of his son, but before he got custody, his baby's mother was dating a guy, and this is what these women to do. And I'm not saying all women, I'm not here to bash women, I'm just saying his particular baby mama was actually with a guy who molested his son. Yeah, you heard it right. Molested his son, and she stayed with the dude. In several stories of these situations that have happened, and the women won't press. I'm not saying in every situation, because I know I'm saying well, the women just won't press charges for whatever reason, and you'll be surprised, man. You will really be surprised. The people who, the women who, and listen. Once again, I'm not bashing women. I understand the nature of the woman. The nature of the woman is, and that's what she's put here for. She's a receiver by nature. Her job on this earth was to be a helpmeet to a man. So it's natural for her to always want that. Now, a lot of these women pick the wrong men to be basically helpmeet too, but women always gonna desire men, and men always gonna desire women. That's just the way things are. So, but when women are more different than men, like men, we will desire a woman more for sex. We can go without women being in our life. We can go without a girlfriend or stuff like that. But we want a woman for sex in most situations. Not all situations, but I'm just making an overall point. And women, well, they cool with the sex and all that too, but they're more about the companionship of having a man just be a protector, just be, a man. You know what I'm saying? Women, when they don't have a man, it's like they won't say it. A lot of them won't say it, especially with this feminist movement going on. A lot of them won't say it, but it's like they feel something's missing. You know what I'm saying? And so, these women today, man, they will have anybody around your children. Not all women, but most of them. They will have anybody around your children. And if you decide to be a deadbeat father and abandon your children, and your children is being some abused, hurt, killed, they have all these situations that's happening, molested, all these things happening to your child because you're not around them, right? And so that fall back on you. Now, if it's nothing that you're doing wrong, you're trying everything you can, and you just got a bitter baby mama, then that's another story. She gonna deal with her karma for that, and it's gonna be in the worst way because God don't play about children. He don't because they are innocent. You know what I'm saying? They don't ask to come here. We all know what it takes to make a child. We constantly, like I say, I've done it. A lot of people do it all the time, where they have unprotected sex because it feels good, but they don't want the consequence. Some of us, like me, have been lucky and blessed and nothing but turn the lives from that. Some of us haven't. But once you understand that you have a child in this world, you decide to, well, I don't want to be with her, so I'm not going to take care of the child, or whatever situation you do, and you decide to be a deadbeat, whatever happens to that child, fall back on you. The same way if she's trying to do things to keep you away, it's gonna fall back on us. So you have to be prepared and always vet and make sure you're taking the time to pick the person that you make a baby with because it could change everybody's life, including yours. And it can put a curse on your bloodline for future reference. You can go start a family with somebody else, man or woman. Dude, you can leave your kids, abandon them and say, I don't want to deal with her. She just was a jump off. I don't want to deal with her. I'm going to deal with this other woman. Abandon my kids. And I see this happen a lot too. Dudes will abandon their children, go marry or get with another woman who already has kids and take care of them like they're a family. You know, you're in trouble, man. You're in trouble with the Most High. Just like women do this too. They'll do whatever they want to do or play games with good men. And because this good man is not either um playing it how they want to play it, or because this good man is I was listening to a young lady on the phone a couple of weeks ago, and I heard a friend of mine. He was talking to another lady, and the woman was saying about how a woman left her husband because she felt like he wasn't educating her. But he was a good guy, just wasn't educated to her up to her part, and she left her husband, a father of her children, for that. So now, progressing age reconciled, these children are going to be raised without a father. Not because he cheated, not because he was beating her, all because even I don't know I don't know what his occupation is. But if he was working at McDonald's flipping burgers, if he's doing the best he can as a man to be a father, and that's the best he can, and because you feel like that's not enough, you decide to put this man out or divorce this man in her situation because he was less educated, you in trouble, man. And you can repent. And sometimes that's one of the hardest parts. Sometimes we can repent for some of the things we do, but we still have to deal with karma. And the worst thing is that karma being passed down our bloodline. And that's why, like I said, I encourage y'all to pray a prayer that I always pray, and that's that God deliver me and give me the victory over any curse or generational curse over me or my bloodline. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something we do unconsciously. And like I say, it's some things I've done in life, some real bad things. And these things could come back on me or my family. And so I ask God to X that out. I ask God to get rid of that because I don't need that, right? And the bad, like I say, the really bad thing about it is sometimes karma skip over you. You know, the Bible says it can go down to two and three generations. You don't want your children suffering for your bad decisions. And I tell brothers, not so much as women, but I tell men for sure, you really don't want to start reproducing till you're 30 years old, at least. And the reason why I say that is because when you're in your 20s is basically like your grown teenage years. You're not ready to be a mother or a father. You still want to have fun, do a lot of things. You're not even wise enough. And most of the time, people don't get off into their careers, for their I'm gonna say what I mean by you might get out. It depends on whether you go to school or trade school or whatever it is. By the time you 26, 27, 28, you really like just like catching speed in your career. You know what I'm saying? You probably just buying a home or you might have, what I'm saying? So you don't want to bring a family, but not just so much financially, because financially taking care of a child is the last thing. What you need to, with your main thing is making sure that child's spirit is correct, making sure that child protected, because you're the first line of defense for that child. So anything happens to that child, it has to first go to you, whatever it is, whether you're leaving them with the wrong person or whatever it may be. You are their child's first line of defense. You know what I'm saying? And so, once you're 30 years old, by the time you're 30, not only are you should be up and running in your career, but you learned a lot in your 20s. You learned a lot of different things in your 20s. What type of woman you want to reproduce with, what type of man you want to be your baby father or husband, rather. I don't even like to say baby father. What type of man you learn these things, and now you in your 30s, and you have not only have you learned a person that you want to reproduce with, you have something to actually pass down to the child. When I say that, I mean not nothing material, mentally, spiritually. You have something to pass down to the child by the time you're 30 years old. Because by the time you're 30, you're an adult at this point. You've learned through, like I say, in your 20s, you've learned ups and downs. You done went through seasons of being broke, probably. You done went through seasons of struggling. You done went through seasons of you didn't pretty much dealt with all the seasons of life by the time you're 30. So you have a lot to bring to the table to feed your child, right? And so that's one of the things I want to speak on in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Just man, make sure you vet the person that you're thinking about reproducing with on every day. Everything that this man is doing, everything that this woman is doing, you need to be taking notes mentally, because if you're thinking about taking this person serious, will you want your children to be raised by this type of man, by this type of woman? What does their social media look like? How do they talk to people? Are they respectful? Do they have a relationship with their family? If they don't, why? These are the things that you need to figure out because I heard one of the brothers say something. He said, I forgot the brother name, man. Real popular brother, man. I think his name Nazir Muhammad, something like that. That he's in the Nation of Islam. He said that he said one of the most important things you can do in life after choosing to believe in God is choosing who to marry. I agree with him on the first one, but I would say, well, you might want to put choosing who to marry because choosing who to marry, right? That all falls in the line of who you reproducing with. But I would say choosing who to marry and of course choosing to believe in God, that's the most important thing. But I'm saying choosing who to marry and all choosing who you're going to reproduce with because it can be a life change. It can be something that can make or break you. You know what I'm saying? And so, I want to speak on that and cover that, man, because man, it's just so much going on, man. And you see these children, man, you feel sorry for them, man, because they get a short end of the stick, and it's not their fault. I've been around these children, man, and they can't pick up the phone and call their daddy. You know what I'm saying? That's just like I can't even wrap my mind around it. Like they can't even pick up their phone and call their dad because they don't even have his number. And if they do have his number, he either telling them something, telling them a dream, lying to them. And these dudes, that's why I always say these dudes wonder why they go through the things that they go through in the street. Like people will be looking at them, how come he can't stay out of jail? Why he stay getting shot? Why he died? Because he do have curses on them because they don't take care of their seed. On Father's Day, they might want to post a picture of their children at Halloween, but for the most part, they don't take care of their kids. Listen, man, if I had a baby out here, I know it's easier said than done. But if I had a child out here, I'm talking about, if it was a grown child, I know if it's a baby, I can't, do that. But every day, I would need to FaceTime with I need to talk to him, ask him how his day was, just so happy. Because sometimes we got to be honest, we adults, we have to be honest that sometimes relationships ain't gonna work. And we gonna have to co-parent, but that doesn't mean that I don't need to be in my child life. I need to be in my child life so much that he's comfortable with me to tell me anything that's going on in the house. Some of these children are more comfortable with the stepdad or the guy in the house than they are with their father. I've literally, this is not a lie. God, hear me right now. Listen, I had one little boy, man. The little boy loved me so much. He actually went stay with his dad. That's why I want to say a summer or something. And he would call me. And one time he even told me why he was with his dad, that man, you my dad. And that hurt me because it's like this young man is with his father in the flesh, but over the phone telling me I'm his dad because that's how much of an impact I have made on his life, more than the guy who actually laid down and made him. And it just was crazy to me, man. But this is the situation that's going on. And this is why one of the main reasons, like I think, that our community is in such ruins because of the broken family. And the civil rights movement was a big part of it because, um, once the civil rights movement came, it incentivized bad behavior. In other words, it incentivized, it didn't make the, they act like, made the black man. They said that there was a black man in the home. Well, that didn't mean anything. He should have been in the home. I don't need your welfare. Keep your welfare. Keep your food stamps. Keep all the government assistance. I want my man in the home. Us together could put our heads together and take care of it. We don't need the government help. But it wasn't that the government was telling them that directly, but indirectly they were saying, listen, if you a single mother, you get this. They were incentivizing bad behavior, and most of our women chose the government over the man, and they married the government. The government was just supposed to be coming in some situations. For some people, like I say, some things didn't work. And some families, some mothers did need, some single mothers did need financial help. So we allowed, the government was just supposed to come sleep on the couch for a couple months. But what happened was it spread like wildfire. And next thing you know, men was leaving their families left and right. And women, I gotta give them a little piece of that pie for picking the wrong men. And next thing you know, the government had moved from the couch to the master bedroom. In other words, they made the government assistance a permanent thing. And they understood that the more children that I make, the more government assistance I can get. And that's what happened. That's what's been happening today. It's still happening today. And so, that's just a bad situation, man. We gotta fix that. We gotta fix that. We gotta do everything as fathers. We gotta do everything as men. We gotta do everything as women. We gotta do everything as mothers to make sure our families stay together. Make sure we pick the right person to reproduce with because it can be a make or break situation for your life for generations to come. Another thing I wanted to talk about, I was telling somebody the other day, man. I said, you gotta understand the world, bro. You gotta understand people. You gotta understand the world and how the world works. And a lot of us don't. We understand the basic principles of life. I need this, to get here, to have this. But we don't really understand life, and that's why certain things happen to us in a certain way, or we disappointed, or we in some situations we might not get the support we want, or you gotta understand that being consistent means something. And whatever it is that you're doing, consistency is key. You cannot do something here and there and expect other people to say, well, because you might have it, or of course, God bless some of us with good parents that's extremely supportive of us, or a good spouse that's extremely supportive of us, and they are staying behind us regardless. But in this world, man, I learned that you could actually be telling somebody something, right? You could be telling somebody something, and is real, right? But if you not showing, if you basically, I'm gonna put it like this, if you basically not practicing what you preach, not even so much on that particular subject, people not gonna receive you. You know what I'm saying? Because you doing this and then you doing this. And even though this might be outside of what you speaking on and what you speaking on is true, people looking at your lifestyle, people looking at how you move, people and what some people shadow people, they looking at the things that you have, but things that you have don't mean anything. But what means something is your lifestyle, when you especially when you're a certain type of person and you speaking on certain type of things, especially things that life changing, self help situations, pro truth situations, you gotta stand on business with that. You know what I'm saying? And one of my problems, and I've accepted that. One thing about me, I thank God for that. I feel like there's a character strength that I'm able to see myself. A lot of people not able to do that. They just not able to see themselves, right? They don't understand that, okay, I want this type of energy from this person, but I'm not really giving them that energy. You know what I'm saying? And some people call it a narcissist, but that's not what I'm really talking about, no relationship. I'm really talking about anything. Even if it's a business that you're doing, you want people to support your business, but you're not being consistent with it. It doesn't matter how good you are. People, some people respect quality, meaning they they will say, okay, um, okay, she don't do hair but once a month, but she's so good, I'm gonna just wait for her once a month, right? It's some situation like that, but you'll be getting a fade to black because it's like you saying this, but you doing this, and that's one of my issues that I've had over the years that I was saying things about certain things, but I was doing other things that wasn't righteous or not so much. Well, part of the eyes of God, it wasn't righteous. On earth, it wasn't really not righteous. It wasn't like I was hurting nobody. Um, but it's things that I did and put out in the universe over the years. But here I am saying, speaking a message of what I speak on, and people just won't receive it because one, you're not consistent with. Well, you're consistent with the message, but you're only consistent with that message when you want to be consistent with it. In other words, I'm trying to say not like I'm switching lanes or changing my mind because the things that I spoke about from this channel to the other channel, um, I'm consistent with my point, my talking point, my solutions for the issue that I speak about. But okay, I'm talking about this, and what I'm saying about this is true, and if it's applied, it can help and reap benefits. But you mess with multiple women, but you um dealing with women and you to a point where you so arrogant that you feel as though I can handle her like this because I'm that dude. And there's nothing wrong with feeling highly about yourself, but don't let because you feel highly about yourself treat people wrong because that's not right. And once again, as I also mentioned, whatever you put out there is gonna return to you. And if it don't, it's gonna return to somebody you love. So you don't want to put energy out there that's bad, right? No matter what it is. And you don't. And if somebody put energy out there bad towards you, we have a thing that we say in the world today, match energy. You don't want to match that energy because if you match a negative vibe or negative energy, you gonna get the same thing they gonna get. You leave things in God's hand. That's why the Bible says vengeance is mine, not yours. It's his. And a lot of times we save people from vengeance from God, which is most times it's not something. Sometimes vengeance from God might be elevating you, right? Sometimes vengeance it ain't God ain't about to just do them nothing or cause them no pain or struggle. Like I understand the Bible says, "Touch not my anointing, do them no harm," but sometimes it's not gonna come in the form of a curse or it's not gonna come in the form of something happening to them. It's gonna come in the form of him elevating you so high that they gotta look up at you. And that right there does something to certain people, especially somebody that tries to do everything to tear you down, whether it be physically, spiritually, or emotionally. Um, this person destroyed your company, and now you got this person destroyed your company in one town, and because you didn't fight back, God and bless you with a company in 3 or 4 times. How you think that person feels, right? This person cheated on you, and instead of going to cheat back, God allowed you to get the strength to lead this person and go meet another person. That's the best thing that ever happened to you. And it shows this person you ain't stopped nothing. Um, not really talking about possession, but we can talk about that too, because possession can always be got back by anybody. So nobody can, somebody destroy your vehicle or your home, you can always get another vehicle or home. So that's not really, and but even that too, even something like that. And so when you get in the way of God and try to call yourself taking vengeance on yourself, a lot of times you spare your quote unquote enemy. Because once you call yourself taking stuff into your own hand, what God does is take a step back and say, hey, you got it. I've did that. I've so plenty. Everybody else did it. And sometimes we can't help ourselves. Sometimes it just feels better to, quote unquote, get it off our chest, or however you want to look at it. And sometimes it feels better. But I'm gonna tell you about me. It have been times where I did that righteously and unrighteously. There have been times where I put people business out there, and it wasn't because, and it was right. It was something that needed to be put out there. It was something that, but it was wrong on my part because that wasn't my, it wasn't my business. But this person had violated me, so I feel like I want to violate them back. But I was always been one of those type of people where I got a good heart, and I'm never gonna throw the first punch. I'm never gonna throw the first punch. But when I throw my punch, I'm knocking you out, right? And I'm not talking about physically. I don't start fires, I put them out. And so when you a type of person like that, it's a lot of time I know for a fact what things happen to me, things that I don't, that people don't even know about. I know about them, and they came across my desk, however, whatever, and I call myself getting them back in the flesh. And I mean, I spared because what I did going only last a certain while. And then I'm the type of person where my heart's so good, even like I say, when it was a situation where I really exposed some truth about somebody, I still feel bad. And I always feel like they'll go away saying, you shouldn't have did that. You should have let me handle it. You know what I'm saying? Or let me handle it. It's always, and, we all, and everybody saying, I'm going to leave it in God's hand, but they don't do it in God's hand. They do their undercutting stuff. They say everything you do, you can fool other people, but you can't fool God. God knows what you're doing. You feel me? So, and God gonna judge you off your heart. That's what He judges you off. So if you got some trash in your heart and you do something malice, so what is hurt that person physically or not? If it's just if it's something you say about that person to try to defame that person or make another person change the view of somebody else toward that person, it's still gonna be repaid back to you because you didn't have to. You matched energy. So whatever they was gonna get, now you gonna get it too. Or God gonna just step back and let y'all destroy each other, with whether it be physically or verbally. Because you can get it, you could these days with the way stuff going on, you could actually destroy people by putting certain things about their body. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful with that, man. And you got to understand that anything that you're doing, if you want people to respect you, support you, you got to be consistent with it. You got to be consistent with it. You can't be telling everybody, well, look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get yourself together. Or don't expect nobody to support you, don't expect nobody to respect you, because that's what's going to happen. People going to lose respect for you eventually. And the universe, God is not going to allow you, right? It's people who do. I tell people all the time. Some people doing a good thing, but they ain't God thing. You know what I'm saying? And so you can't expect blessings to come from Him, which is see the blessings about the Bible say the blessings of the Lord come with no sorrow. And the reason why I'm putting that out there because a lot of times people like to equate blessing with possession. They got people in the world that's doing evil to get possession, and they got a lot of it, right? But they don't have no. It come with pain and sorrow. Like you, for example, a drug that is used for drug dealers, for example. A drug a drug dealer have a lot of different possessions, but it come with pain and sorrow, going to jail, getting killed, getting robbed. But when you get blessings from God, it's peace. That's how you always know when something comes from God. Anytime you ever question it or think about it or say, I wonder, is it come with any type of chaos or it don't sit right with your spirit, you a spiritual person, it's not from God. You have to second guess it, whatever it is, whether it's a person, place, thing, or job, whatever, buying a home, whatever it is, if you start God about it, or you out here just doing your own thing, that's another story. But if you on some stuff like, man, hey, if you on stuff like, man, hey, um, I'm doing it God way, I'm letting God. take the wheel like a lot of people say. You gotta literally let him take the wheel, not be all over him, telling him where to go and doing all that stuff because God not gonna argue with you. One thing God is not gonna do is argue with you. He's not gonna do it. You think you got it, he's gonna let you have it. And we see how that works for most of us. It loses, turns out in flame, and God's so good, he'll come get us out the flame, but he give us not only will he come and get us out of the flame, he'll show us, he'll have us hot with signs, knowing it's about to be a fight, but we'll just keep on walking sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So always understand in life, man, whatever it is that you're doing, and you want people to respect you. Um, and like I say, that could be on different levels. It could be on different levels. For example, if you speaking about um, black empowerment, let's just say, for example, right? But you still selling a little weed in there in your own community. Well, nothing wrong with weed, so I'm gonna go ahead and sell me a little weed. Believe it or not, it's people in this world who try, and I've seen it. It's not something I'm telling you. I just heard. I know people who have sold their children gang systems. I know people who have basically neglected all their parental duties to get some weed, right? So you are helping destroy this. Well, they gonna get it somewhere that would be your rebuttal, right? Well, let them get it from somebody else. Let that blood be on somebody else, right? And so whenever you doing something, even if the same thing, if it's something that you may be selling, right? You have to be consistent and you want people to respect you and you can't be going against your own self what you doing. You know what I'm saying? So you can talk a good game all you want. I'm talking about you can talk a good game to the point where people actually will sit and listen and say what you saying is true, right? But when the rubber meets the road and you ain't standing on what you standing on, practicing what you preach, people not gonna respect you. You never have the support or the blessings from God. And it just, it's like you're gonna be spinning your wheels. It's gonna be spinning your wheels. Before you know it, you'll be like, man, all this time passed by. I've been doing this and doing that, but I've been getting sidetracked, right? I've been getting sidetracked with this, getting sidetracked. And we understand nobody's perfect. We understand that living this life perfect is impossible. That's why God sent his son Jesus for that. But we can't just be intentionally, right, doing things that we know go against what our overall message is, going against what our overall plan is, going against whatever we got going on for that, which if it's already in the making. We can't be going against that ourselves and then saying, well, I'm not perfect, so you got to stand on business. Whatever it is that you're doing, be consistent if you want people to respect you, respect it, or whatever the situation may be. Or they'll just feel that you'll just be blowing hot air, and before you know it, you'll be an old person, and you'll still be talking a good game, but you'll have no results. And that's when people not only gonna stop listening to you, they're gonna be there to ridicule you and say, well, hey, remember 30 years ago you was talking this, talking that, and look at you still because and it's gonna be your fault. It's not gonna be the other person's fault. They got the right to laugh at you. And people gonna always talk, bro. That's another thing. You can't worry. That's why I tell people, man, when you in your life, man, and this social media stuff have really made things just be really like too much, right? Because it's like everybody on here, and you know, if you don't know people, and it doesn't really matter, but there's nothing you can do to win social media. You can't win, right? Like you just can't win no matter what the situation is. You can't win. And that's just how it is with people. You can't win with people. You have to always, and I know what I'm about to say is might sound cliche. I know it might sound, whatever, however you want to call it. But at the end of the day, not only God, make sure whatever you're doing, is pleasing God, but you got to also make sure that you're able to look yourself in the mirror every day. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing, if you good with it, that's what matters. Because no matter what you do in life, people gonna talk. That's just life, bro. You feel me? People gonna talk, but like if you driving if you ain't got a car, people gonna say you ain't got a car. If you get a car and it's raggedy, they gonna talk about it being raggedy. If you get a brand new car, people gonna say, well, I got a better car. You know what I'm saying? Or fine, you finally got a car. Or if you get a Lamborghini, they gonna say You got that because of this. So you can't win with the world. You can't win with social media. You can't win. I got a degree, okay. I got a master's. Okay, I got a bachelor. Okay, I got a master's. Okay, I got a doctorate. So it's always well, where you went to school and like whatever you do in life, somebody gonna be doing worse or better, and somebody gonna be talking about what you're doing, discrediting what you got going on, no matter what it is. So that's why I tell people, bro. That's why depression is at an all time right. That's why depression right now is at an all time high because you got so many people who have amazing lives. I had a partner, man, and it's a crazy story, bro. I had a partner, bro, and it's a true story. His uncle came home from prison, big time drug dealer, came home from prison, got back in the game, doing his thing. I'm talking about big time. My partner was working at a company, making $100,000 a year, had a college degree. I'm talking about a great job. I don't remember exactly what. I think he was some type of engineer. No. He was a project. He was a project manager, and these guys make money out the game, and they make $10,000, $12,000 a month at some location, and they can't get laid off. So however long the job is, this is gonna be a for sure income for them. And this guy was making great money, just doing great things, had a good woman, was traveling, just having a great life. But his uncle comes home, says, gets in the game. He want a part of that, gets in a part of that. And now, of course, he was doing his thing, but not even, and I'm not exaggerating, not even 2 years here he got in the game. He did a lot of different things, had a lot of fun in those 2 years, but he ended up going to prison. And I'm talking about he had a beautiful family, young guy, had a young lady, a nice young lady, had a brand new little daughter. Dude went to jail. I don't know how much time he got, because I haven't really heard nothing from him since he been there, but I know he went federal. I don't know how much time he got, but he was took away from his family, can't see his daughter. I mean, he can still, but you know how that works, and especially with the Fed, because the Fed can skip you anywhere in the United States. So you might not even be close to home. But I don't really know, like I said, his whereabouts. And his girl ended up moving home, and it was hurt me. It hurt me because I could imagine what he's going through every day in that cell, saying to himself, I had an amazing life, but I traded that to basically be down, right? And it's just an unfortunate situation, man. So you gotta stand on what you gotta live your life according to your guidelines. You gotta live your life according to what makes you happy, what's doing well for your family. You can't be these social media apps is why depression is at an all time high right now. You know, you got people, what I'm saying? Like I say, man, and it's not just him, several people like that. They blessed beyond measure. But they looking at somebody on social media, which is a highlight reel, right? It's not showing the bad stuff. You hate, you compete with this person. You don't know what they went through to get where they at right now. You don't know the long night. You don't know what they went through. All your mind on is, man, I gotta do better than them. And that's what the world full of. I call them extras, just followers, just drones. They just do what everybody else do. They you know what I'm saying? It's just like if they not doing what somebody else doing, they got pressure on them. Just something that they don't have that somebody else has. They have pressure on them. Listen, man, God made your journey. If God wanted all of us to do everything at the same time, He wouldn't have took time. He'd just put everybody on earth. Everybody would have looked exactly the same. Ditto. Everybody got different fingerprints for a reason. Because everything that we do, our journeys are different, right? They got people who becoming, we're living in a day and age now. We living in a day and age now with the social media here. I remember a couple of years ago with the you call it the man, I forgot it was like some in NRTs, I want to say. I think that in NRTs they had 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds coming millionaires. Right? They had one guy, I forgot his name, with Sam, I forgot he got, he was one of those Bitcoin type of people. He got all his money quick. The ways that people get rich fast now. But everything good ain't gold. This dude, oh Sam Bankman Fried, he ended up going bankrupt, getting caught up with all kind of foolishness, had to sell everything. This dude was a guy who had almost $1 billion. But when you're dealing with certain stuff like that, like Bitcoin and stocks, that thing hell hot. Bitcoin for sure. Those that cryptocurrency is something that it's it goes on how the economy going. So the economy going good is going good, but the economy can always take a plummet. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get a bad leader for whatever country you're in, like our country. The stock markets have been crashing and on the verge of crashing. There's been several bailouts. There's just a lot going on economically because we have a bad leader. And that could change for people. That's what I'm saying. You may think, oh, I got all this money in my crypto account, or my stock's doing well now, and then somebody come in office, especially a Democrat, and here you are, and you have a situation that we have now, and even if things still going good for you with inflation, the way things are raised up, you still spending way more. So you got to look at all those things. But I'm saying all that to say, man, you can't be viewing your life through other people's eyes, and you can't allow other people to view your life through your eyes. I come from an educated family, and it's time where we get well, not just that. I've been around a lot of people, especially over the years, going to Trump rallies and being around certain type of people. And a lot of times they ask you, well, what do you do? What is your degree in? And it's like, what does it matter? What I'm saying? Unless you about to hire me for a particular job and you want to know my credentials. But other than that, what does it matter? Am I happy? How am I? I always tell people, how are you? How is your day? You know what I'm saying? Because I might have a master's degree in engineering and be a miserable person because first of all, I'm not in my purpose. And I got a video on my channel about finding your purpose. Go check that out. I'm making all this money, but I'm not in my purpose. So every day I get up to go to this $100,000 job, I don't want to be at, right? And so, and some people go through life like that, but you can't let other people, you can't view your life through other people's eyes. You can't let other people view your life through their eyes. They have their life, you have yours. Mm. Damn, I thought there was a spider mosquito. But yeah, you just think that that person might have had this advantages that that person might have had that you didn't have. Same thing. You may have had advantages that that person didn't have. It's things that you may have experienced unfairly in your life versus this person. So you can never hold your life up to another person's life, even with possession. And the reason why I brought up possession is because possession is something that anybody with all the health and strength can attain. But still in all, you talking about this person because they stay in a project, but they got a house. Just by the fact that they have their own house, whether it's no project or not, that person is blessed. And here you is staying in your rate or your house on the water, or not so much as your house on the water, your middle class home, and you got a nice home, middle class, and you talking about somebody in a project. Or you staying in a mansion and you talking about the people in your old neighborhood of two-story house. Like you could never do that. And that's why a lot of times you see people in these situations and either they lose this or they be in these situations and still don't have peace. They have I've seen people so many times in my life who had I know it's crazy, man. I always understood it by my mama. Like some of the things my mama went through in my opinion was unfair. I can't really say why I say in my opinion because I didn't know my mama my whole life. I only knew her since I was here. You feel me? So I don't know, but it's things that she went through, in my opinion, unfairly with her children or, just certain things and, us being, so, she was a great parent. It wasn't like she was a neglect, she was a housewife. She was a great parent, still is today. But it's certain turn that me and my sister went, and I don't know how it took her. I don't know, um, you know, I'm sure she probably said plenty of days, like, why is this happening to my children? But as a matter of fact, I actually heard my dad say that. So, you never know the situation, but um, although I don't know her and things she did before, some of the things I feel like maybe was unfair, but would it be things that came down from stuff she did before I met her? I'm just using for example, and it fell on her children. And the reason why they made certain decisions, I'm not saying, I'm just saying you can use this for whatever. You can use this in any situation. So you gotta always understand that as well. But man, you gotta live your own life, man. You gotta live your own life, man, because man, that's another reason. That's another reason. But man, you gotta count your blessings and be thankful for what you have. You know, it's but go yeah, going back to my mother, but my mother is a sweet. And I know people, and you said that your mother, my mom, you meet my mom, you would never know that her kid went through the thing that they went off. That her kid brought her through the thing that they brought her through because it'd be like, this lady should be bitter, you know what I'm saying? But she's not, she's just so sweet. And, so what they, I know mothers right now who all of their children um did quote unquote the right thing according to the world standard. They went to college, they did this, but yet um you see them, it look like they mad at the world. And you would think, well, what's going on? But it could be something else. It could be a bad marriage. It could be other things. But I'm just saying, like, you can't never look at what somebody had when it comes to. I mean, you can't never look at it and say, oh, this person have this or it brings peace. Because to be honest with you, the people with the most possessions is the people with no peace. I'm not gonna say all the time, 'cause that's not the truth. Because some people, like for me, example, I don't have much, but I have peace. So if I was to get some things that I want, I would be at peace because I have. So everybody that got stuff, contrary to possible belief, like rich people miserable, not in all situations. Some rich people in a good place spiritually, mentally, physically, and they just good. They just living with their riches. But some people, because it's all a spiritual thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know I'm probably not looking at the camera for the way it is. I know y'all probably like, who are you looking at? But I'm kind of focused on these lights, but I know the camera right here, but that's another story. So, you can't, man. You can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta live your life, man. And it'll save you so much pain. It'll save you so much heartache. Cause sometimes, cause I know when you're young, we all been there. I want to be clear on that. We've all been at a point in our life where we was in follower mode. And in other words, I call them, like I said, I call them extras. But we've all been at a point in our life where we was in follower drone mode, where we, if we didn't have what other people had, it felt oppressed on us. But most of us, not all of us, especially with the social media age, but grown up grew up. Like grown up understand that okay, this person may have that for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how they got it or what they did to get it. They have it, you don't. Whether it be a husband, a wife, a home, or a big bank account, whatever it is that they did to get whatever they got. They sold drugs to get a big bank account, and you doing it honest and you don't got a big bank account. Listen, you can't. You shouldn't be even worried about it because that's the path that they chose. You choosing another path. And if this person is your friend and that's much and they selling drugs and you was in McDonald's and they put pressure on you because they got a big bank account from doing something dishonest versus you doing something honest and you don't, well then you got a decision to make. Go ahead and follow down their path, right? And whatever happened to them, you're gonna have to accept it too because you had pressure on you. Never let what somebody else have or do put pressure on you and make you do something to have that or make you do you gotta live your life, man. You gotta stay on the quote unquote stay in your lane, bro. That's a cliche saying, but staying in your lane is just a parable of basically doing you, living your life. You know what I'm saying? Not looking at nobody, even your parents. Even your parents. You can't live your parents' life. You can take advice from them, wisdom from them, recommendations from them, but you can't live your parents' life because if you try, you're gonna fail because they had a life that God gave them, and whatever they did or did not do, that's on them. But it's not you to recreate it or even try to do better. It's your job to do you. Focus on doing you and be genuine in what you do, and you'll be more peaceful, man. You will be more peaceful. I'm gonna show you something. Give you an example. You will be more peaceful riding in a Toyota, understanding that right now this is all I can afford. It gets me everywhere I need to go versus being in that Toyota, looking at your friend in a Lamborghini and every day stressing, trying to say, man, I gotta get a Lamborghini to be like him or her. You're gonna stress yourself and put stress on you by every day trying to say to yourself, I gotta do something to get a Lamborghini like my friend. Instead of being thankful and saying, you know what, God, one day I want a Lamborghini, but this Toyota, I'm thankful for that. Because some people don't even have a car. Some people don't even have legs to drive a car, all bike, all home. So I'm super blessed to have this Toyota, whether it's paid for or I'm paying notes on it. I thank you for that, Lord. And also, when you do stuff like that for my Christians and for my believers that believe in prayer, when you thank God for the thing that you have, but you really want more, God know your heart. God know what you want. But when you thank God for the small thing that you have, I thank God for His Toyota. Even though I want a Lamborghini, I thank God for His Toyota. I'm not gonna put no pressure on myself to get a Lamborghini. I'm gonna thank God for His Toyota and work hard until I get to a position financially to get that Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? But and you'll be at peace because you understand that okay, I'm at the point in my life where I need to drive a Toyota. That's the point in life I am. It doesn't matter if me and my friend the same age and they driving a Lamborghini. Whether they working at a plant, whether they got a degree, making a lot of money, or whether they selling drugs, their season and your season is not gonna be the same. Everybody's life is different, right? And so, I just wanted to say that, man, because that's something that a lot of people really struggle with, man. And, that's why I say, man, depression has never been enough. I was talking to a young lady, I might have said this already. I think I had spoke about this. And I'm always talking to a sweet young girl. She's a young lady. She just had her first child, healthy child. And, she's always telling me how depressed she is. And I say to myself, I just don't get it. Now, I'm one of those people, and I thank God that I'm not bragging or boasting. And you would have to understand my story. Some of y'all do because you built my channel and know some of the things I went through in prison. Just to be here for me, every day I wake up. Like I was just at a job I was at recently, and they used to tell me, "Why you so happy go lucky?" And I mean, I have to be like that because if you knew where I came from, if you knew the blessing that God has given me, despite the evil and stuff I have put in the universe, and I mean, I've got my karma too, but I'm just saying, the just the fact that God still loves me enough to bless me with certain things, I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for it, bro, because I understand where I come from. And anytime I get into that mindset of I want better or just that I keep it real simple. I keep it real, I keep it real low. In other words, I want this, but I'm cool with what I got now. Because I don't ever want to be at a point where I want this, I need this to the point where, oh man, you feel me? I want this, I'ma have it whenever it's time for me to have it. And that's so peaceful living a life like that, not having no pressure on you, doing what you want to do, when you want to do it. And what I mean by that is you live life on whatever your name is, not your mama, not your friend, not your enemies to compete, nobody. You live life on your terms. You got a guideline with your name on the top of it that you write. And you more peaceful like that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no pressure on you or what everybody else doing. And we understand that that's the way of the world today. Most people are drawn, they're extra, so they just follow and do that's their purpose. They have a purpose. I always use the term of star and extra. Extras have a purpose. Extras have a purpose. When you watching a movie, it's only going to be about 3 or 4 stars, a couple supporting stars, some co-stars. But most of the people in the movie is going to be extras. And without them in the movie, what you look like watching a movie of a foot, just for example, you watching a football, basketball movie, and nobody in the sand. Those people are extras. They have a purpose too. You know what I'm saying? So extras have a purpose, and most of the time, extras purpose is to show you not what to show you what not to do. But not only that, that's just their purpose. Their purpose is to follow. Their purpose is to worry about what other people are doing. Their purpose is to compete with other people. Their purpose is to look at other people that may have more than them and put pressure on themselves to get that. Their purpose is to look at people who have less than them and look down on. That's their purpose. And you let them live their purpose, but you gotta come out of the matrix and live your life. It's be more, I'm telling you, it's more peaceful. When you do things your way according to your life, according to your terms. Everybody's life got different merits. Everybody. No two, even two twins got two different paths. They look like came out of the same womb at the same time, but they have two different paths of life. That's why God gave everybody. That's what you know how many people in the world? Over 800, over 8 billion people in the world, and everybody have a different fingerprint. That says everything. God gave everybody a different path. And so when you trying to follow somebody else's path, and like I said, even if it's a good thing, even if it's a, oh, I want to do what my daddy did. Well, you could get in the same line of work with your father if that's what you want to do. But if that's not your calling, you're not gonna be happy in it. Might make a lot of money, might bring you a lot of possessions, might bring you a lot of things, but you're not gonna be happy because that's not your purpose. That's not God's given purpose for your life. This is why you have people killing themselves. That's rich because not only because well, it be a lot of different things. You know, some people got mental health issues. There's a lot of different reasons why rich people kill themselves. But you would think, man, this person out there, you would never think. And just think about it. If you were somebody who thought about suicide, and you were somebody who would say, okay, my prediction, a person is gonna commit suicide, I predict this type of person. It wouldn't be a rich person. You would never think somebody that got it all would kill himself, or somebody that come from a family that got it all would kill himself. You would never think that because you would say they got everything that they want and need plus. But that's just not how life goes. If they not doing what they supposed to be on this earth doing, they not gonna be happy. Or if they doing things that but I don't want to go off into that because that'll take me off what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So you got to live your life, man. And that's, some of the things I wanted to stress in this freestyle Friday about parenting and, just living your life. You know what I'm saying? Living life on your terms and not other people's terms because once you get to do that, that's when you bring depression in your life. I feel a lot of people put the phone down. Put your phone down and just put the phone down. Stop going on social media. Put the phone down. Um, Stay away from certain people and just go to your own self. Go into a period of isolation by yourself if that's what it takes to be able to say, you know what, God, I have this. I don't have this, but I have this. I don't have this, but I have this. Just being able to get up in the morning, get yourself out of the bed, put yourself in the tub, that is a blessing. That is a blessing. So you have to be thankful for these things, man. These are not small blessings as we take them, right? So they got people who got all the money in the world, but they can't walk. They got all the money in the world, but they don't have no limbs. They got all the money in the world, but they got a terminal illness. So being healthy, having healthy children, is people who have children that come in this world, but yet they come in the world with holes in their heart. These children got to go to St. Jude camp, get all these. But people have to thank God for the stuff that they have. That's why another reason why a lot of people not blessed because the blessing that God give them every day they take for granted because they too busy focusing on somebody else and they complain about what they don't have instead of looking at what they have and being thankful for that. Why would God bless you with more? God is a good father, the best father in the world. So if you are a parent and you got a child and you giving them everything that they need plus, but they looking at Johnny across the street who might have one more toy more than him and or they may have an older system and they have a new system and they complaining about it. Would that incentivize you to get them something better? No. And if it does, you're a bad parent because you're instilling bad values in your children. You have to be you have to be thankful for what you have in order to get more in life. You know what I'm saying? And that starts with thanking God for what you have, taking your eyes off other people and what they have, comparing. That's why depression is at an all-time high. It's not a coincidence that since the social media came on the scene, depression and suicide rates has risen tremendously because everybody looking at everybody else's lives and what they doing and trying to compete and keep up until they can't even focus on their own life, right? And so, man, I'm about to soon close this, man, because I just wanted to do this. I was putting this Freestyle Friday. I do it every Friday. And man, I just want to speak on those things, man. I'll see y'all this week. I want to say Wednesday for episode 4 of Real Life Prison Stories. And I just want to thank y'all, man. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I have a Sunday. And I'll see y'all next week. Thank you for listening. God bless.